My name is Frazier Johnson. I am the Senior Graduate Recruiter for the Office of Admissions here at UNT in Denton. I am actually a double UNT alumnus. I have a bachelor's degree from UNT, and then I just finished my master's degree in English literature from UNT, and I have hopes of going on and doing a PhD elsewhere with the hopes of becoming a professor. But UNT has played a big part of my life. I was a tour guide here for UNT as an undergraduate student, and I met my wife here, and it has just helped me grow as a professional exponentially. So I wouldn't be where I am today without UNT. Students should consider graduate school because in today's world, the market of bachelor's degree holders has become very oversaturated. So it's a good thing that education is being opened to more people and that more people are able to get a bachelor's degree than before. But you have to understand that that creates some challenges with the job search after college. Oftentimes a master's degree is needed now to just separate yourself from the rest of the applicant pool. And then on a more practical level, a master's degree or a doctoral degree or some kind of professional degree like a law degree or a degree in medicine, those can actually increase your annual earnings by a significant amount versus if you just have a bachelor's degree. UNT has a lot of different graduate programs. We have 132 different programs to be exact. Over 80 of those are offered completely online, and they are mostly asynchronous classes, so they're very flexible for working adults. I would say some of our more popular programs that students come to us about would be our MBA programs. We have over 11 different concentrations for MBA, the Masters of Business Administration. But we also have very popular programs in music. We're a world-renowned music school, so many people come to UNT for a Master's in Music Performance or a DMA. We also have some very interesting engineering programs. We were one of the first universities in the nation to have a standalone program in artificial intelligence. So we actually have a master's in AI, and you can do that program and be on the cutting edge of the artificial intelligence world. But then locally, we're known for our education programs. So a lot of the teachers in the North Texas region, they come to UNT to get their master's in teaching or some sort of certification in educational leadership, maybe as a superintendent or a principal. We're also really known for our psychology graduate programs. So we have 3 psychology PhD programs: clinical psychology, counseling psychology, and behavioral science. I would say they're our most competitive programs to get into. Each one only takes about 7 or 8 students a year, and they only admit during the fall semester. So if you have hopes of going on to be some kind of researcher in the field of psychology or being a professor in psychology, look no further than our program, though I do have to warn you, it is super competitive, but it is highly ranked and it will help elevate your career. So one of the myths out there is that graduate students don't get financial aid or scholarships, and that is totally a myth. It's totally not true. There is so many different funding opportunities out there for graduate students. Graduate students can still receive financial aid, such as loans and needs-based grants. The only grant that's not available for graduate students that is available for undergrads is the Pell Grant, but there's lots of different funding opportunities that grad students can take advantage of. Because as a graduate student, you have the chance of actually working for your academic department and getting most of your tuition covered. That would be through something like an assistantship. We have teaching assistantships and research assistantships. That's where you get most of your tuition covered and you actually get paid by your department a monthly stipend that helps you pay your bills so you can devote, full-time to school and 20 hours a week to your role for the department. But as a PhD student, you can even become a teaching fellow, and that's where you become the sole instructor of record for an undergraduate class. You get your tuition covered by your department and you get the monthly stipend to live off of. So it just helps you focus on school and not have to worry about your bills, like your apartment rent or things like that. Research is a big component of graduate studies. However, if you're just starting out and you join a master's program, you do not have to write a thesis for most programs. A lot of programs, especially in the humanities, have both a thesis track option where you can take classes and write a thesis, and they also have a non-thesis track option. So if you're scared of the potential of messing up your thesis or not being able to write it in time or not knowing enough about one subject to want to write 60 or 70 pages about it, that's okay. A lot of master's programs do not require the thesis, but I will say this, if you have hopes of going on to a PhD, I highly recommend that you consider a thesis, because if you can do a thesis well in your master's, when you apply to PhD programs, it shows those schools that you're comfortable doing extended research and that they can trust you to come to their school, finish the dissertation on time, and not get burned out. So if you choose to do it, make sure you're passionate about what you're going to write about. It's okay if you change your mind, but you don't want to be on the fence too long. So if you feel more comfortable doing a non-thesis route, that's fine too. If you're considering graduate school, my best advice to you would be to not make the decision too quickly. Really take your time to think about what program you want to do. Choosing a university to do your graduate studies at, it's less about brand loyalty and name recognition and more about choosing a program that's going to launch you into the career or industry that you want. So it's not always about going to the school that has your favorite football team or basketball team. So find a program that is going to really help you get to that career you want, and that's going to take some research. The other thing you can do while you're thinking about grad school is try to talk to people who work in the job or industry that you want to be in, because oftentimes you'll learn all sorts of great information by talking to those people. You'll learn where they went to school, what degrees they got, or maybe what degrees they didn't get. And that could answer the question for you about whether or not you need grad school to get to where you want to be in life. The other piece of advice I would give you is to apply very early before graduate school. Give yourself about 8 or 9 months in advance to submit the application. That just helps you get the best funding possible. So the earlier you can apply, the better scholarship and financial aid package you'll get. The last piece of advice I would say is, if you're in your undergraduate right now and you're thinking about graduate school, make sure you're building relationships with professors who can write your letters of recommendation. So a huge component of the application packet is letters of recommendation. If you have professors who can talk about your academic abilities and talk about your work ethic, that is golden. And those professors are going to be your lifelong mentors and help you not only apply for your master's, but your PhD as well. So it starts by talking to them after hours, going to their office hours and expressing interest in the subject, and you'll begin to build a relationship with them.